Thanks you guys so much for joining us. Today, we're going to be talking about what happens when you get so distracted and you get overwhelmed and you're unable to focus and concentrate and all these things. How do you declutter your brain so that you can be more productive in life and at work? And I'm really excited today. We've got a specialist here, Kitty Andrews. Kitty, how are
Hello.
you today?
Fantastic. Hello, hello. I'm so glad to be here.
Because a lot of people go into decluttering saying, "Oh, my house is busy. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make more space." And that's the intention of decluttering without realizing that when you create a space, all of a sudden it opens up your inspiration and the things that you start learning and the things that you're open to and possibly your creativity. And it starts, like you said, triggering other areas of your life where in this
Mm.
particular woman, it triggered her desire to exercise. So there was an opening in her life and she didn't know what that opening was for and thought, "Hey, wait a second, I'm on the process of bettering my life. What does that mean?" And it sounds like she was taking some other internal dialogue or other internal questions and asking, "What does this mean for me in my relationships and in my health and in my physical fitness?"
Yes.
Right? And I
Yes.
think that's part of the key of what you're talking about, which is so important when you start decluttering. One little decluttering, whether it's your house or whether it's your ideas first. And you said the chicken or the egg, which comes first. But by making a change, by decluttering something, I think it starts to trigger that domino effect, don't you think?
Yes. You mentioned the creative aspect. Can I put the cherry on the top of Sarah's ice cream sundae?
Absolutely.
Sarah never met a craft that she didn't like or a hobby. She
Okay.
she she can do anything. She really can, even DIY house stuff, building things. She can
Uh-huh.
do everything. Most of my clients are ADHD, by the way. We've got interests everywhere. She had all these crafts on the go, but over the last year, she decided, yes, I think I would like to really work on stained glass art. Well, I'm proud to announce that she just on Monday took a deposit, her first deposit on her first commissioned artwork, which is going to net her $1,200.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness.
And I said to her, so there's gold in there decluttering. You can find yourself making money. You never know.
So she cleared up enough of her life that she felt like, okay, my life is in control enough now that I can start a side business and I can take my hobbies and the things that I love and then make money from them. Is that
Yes.
what I'm hearing?
Yes. Isn't that
And
exciting?
that is exciting. But so how do we replicate that in our own lives? Because I know a lot of the people that join us week after week are working through their own deals of clutter. And many of them are professionals that already have jobs. And some of them are looking to switch or do a side hustle or something like that. And other people are just looking to transition from a regular 9 to 5 job to something that may be more independent and give them more freedom of their schedule. And so, how do we take the decluttering thing and tweak it a little bit so that if we are ADHD or if we are just lack focus or if we're just consumed by all the stuff we have, how do we streamline that so that we can turn this into a profit and we can move forward with our lives in a productive sort of way?
Going to answer that in what I hope will be the right way. And if it isn't, please ask me to clarify.
I don't think there's a right or a wrong way. I just want your expertise.
Okay. I'll preface by saying most of my clients, in fact, all of them except one, are age 40 and over who are doing exactly what you have described is seeing, is there something else out there for me? Maybe I don't want to work as hard in corporate or what have you. And they're looking to transition into something else. And to the how, the biggest part of decluttering is not only overwhelm, but deciding where to start. Because maybe you have a house that you've lived in for 20, 30 years. And of course, you accumulate things and you just don't know where to start. And my suggestion is start in the smallest room that you have. Don't start in the basement with 30 years worth of Christmas decorations. Don't do that to yourself. So you're just going to shoot yourself in the foot. You'll be enthusiastic for the first few days, and then you just survey the mess and say, "I can't do it." However, if you use my one system, and the reason it's the one system is because it was the only one that made sense to me because it calms. We were talking about calming the busy brain, focuses the busy brain on, all right, and I'll tell you about my system now. One room at a time, one area of that room at a time, one thing at a time. Why do I say that? Is because if you start, say, for example, in your home office, and then you go to the spare room, and then you bounce from a purely practical point of view, I'm sure you'd agree that by the time you get back to the first room, you forget where you were, and it takes you that time to get the train moving again. So if you
Mhm.
stick with one room, then also you see some progress and you get that momentum and you get that confidence. That's so huge. Your mindset, right?
So if I understand correctly, start with one room and then one area of the room and on one topic. So imagine I'm in my living room and I've got a coffee table with all kinds of stuff on it. So I start with the coffee table, which is the one area of that one room. And then I start with one topic, which is like magazines, for example.
Perfect. You should be sitting in my chair. That was perfect. Yeah.
Okay, so what do I do then with the magazines? Let's
Now,
say that they go back to 2002, so they're 21 years old.
well, number one, if you haven't looked at it in 21 years, you don't need it that much. Your brain starts to find other ways. You know that you can Google recipes on
Mhm.
anything. And also ask yourself, how much mental energy is it going to take me to go through these things? Would it be easier on my poor beleaguered brain to just let go? Because these are ghosts. Anything that is old or clutter, these are ghosts from your past.
Thank you from, all of us here at the Savvy Cleaner team, and thank you, Kitty Andrews, for joining us and being here on our show. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Angel.